The Entrepreneurial Hour is a weekly radio talk show hosted by Stephanie Cates and Robert Gultz that includes local South Florida business owners, subject matter experts, and industry leaders that recognize the need to share their knowledge with other businesses to help them start and grow their business. Join us Tuesday mornings, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, online at Radio Unilatina USA. Follow us on social media at #The Entrepreneurial Hour.
You're here with the Entrepreneurial Hour. This is Robert Goltz. You know what? It's great. We've gone through the summer without her, and we missed her dearly. And we have my co-host and partner in crime, Stephanie Cates, back with us. Woo-hoo! Glad to have you back. And then today we're going to be talking about marketing for your corporation and your business. And we have with us today Andrea Cookhorn. She's with AC Consulting Services of America. I want to make sure I got it all in there. So we have a great show for you today. I'm glad you all tuned in. And you know what, Stephanie, I'll start off with you. How was your summer? Because I have truly missed you.
Thank you so much. You know, I missed the show. I did hear it. Hey, you kept your end. You were decent. You know,
I tried to keep to your questions a little bit.
Yeah, I know. That's okay, Robert. We know we can't control you, but that's the beauty of knowing Robert. He goes with his heart and soul. So it has been wonderful. My husband and I decided to spend time with the grandkids in Colorado and our grandson in Las Vegas. It was only. It started out at 106 in the morning and went to 109 by the afternoon. It was very warm there, but dry. Mm-hmm. So, but we enjoyed it. Did a lot of bike riding. Went up to the Rockies a few times, and really enjoyed it. Just saw a lot of family. And
so I worked really hard while you were gone. I kept the seats warm. That's hard to do.
Surprisingly, it is hard to do because I tried to also get people to come in to fill positions. And we both struggled. We actually had to do 2 repeat shows, which were both mayors, Mayor Frank and then the mayor from Miramar. We had their shows be repeated, which was worth repeating, I think.
Absolutely.
I think that hopefully our listeners are really enjoying the show. They are getting an idea of this show offering businesses some way of getting to find out about, like, where do I open a business in Miramar? Where do I find resources for money with the county? Or maybe we have to go to the state. I know you spend a lot of time in Tallahassee. We should probably have a show about that.
We probably should down the road. But how about if right now I'm going to hand it over to you and let's go ahead and let's talk about marketing today.
Well, that's near and dear to my heart. I have an MBA in market strategy, and I actually teach here at Unilatina International College marketing and different marketing aspects. One of the aspects that I love about marketing is that it is completely about the company. With a good marketing strategy, who doesn't remember the old lady with, what was it now, Wendy's? Was it Where's the Beef?
Oh, Where's the Beef?
Where's the Beef? I mean, I know people that remember jingles 40 years later. This is acute, phenomenal marketing, and it all was radio and TV years ago. Mm-hmm. However, and print media, like magazines. I was looking at like Good Housekeeping and the ads in there, and then the old ads with the new ads. And first of all, people are not even looking at the ads anymore in magazines. It used to be what attracted them. So if you're trying to advertise or get your company out there, you can't use what your grandparents, even your parents or your older siblings used, because the millennials and the X and the Y are all moving into this digital world. And so talk to us. If I came to you with my company and I wanted you to say, help me get a good brand and do a marketing campaign, what would you tell me, Andrea?
Well, you brought up some really interesting points. It's important to know that, yes, the game has changed. It's a very different world in terms of how you get your message across. Right now, there's so much media. We're inundated on a daily basis with advertisements, whether we're on our phone, whether we're in an app, or we're walking down the street. So you have to differentiate yourself. You have to get past the clutter and be somewhat disruptive, I believe, in your advertising efforts. So
disruptive? Is that like, I hate to say this, but like
Yes.
the Kardashians are always doing bad stuff. And then is that the disruptive you're talking about? Like we have to, everything bad that you do, gets front page. And if you're a nice person, it gets like last page.
Right. Well, that could work depending on your brand. I mean, obviously it works for the Kardashians. I don't think that it's across the board. I don't think it's a blanket disruption. What I think it is really is speaking to the pain point of your customer or the end user. So if you are, for example, a dental office, one dental office really, in the minds, I think, of most people, doesn't really differentiate themselves. I mean, a dental office is a dental office.
I couldn't agree more. There's actually now marketing for dentists. I know a guy in Colorado, that's all he does is help dentists differentiate themselves.
Exactly.
Isn't that crazy? You hurt my teeth. That's all I need to know.
Like a little drilling here and there.
Not going to go there. But I think that it's important as a dental office, let's say, to speak to the pain point of your customer. Now, you have to understand your customers hang out online every day, whether they're in a Snapchat feed or they're on Instagram, Facebook, whatever the social platform they prefer, social media platform they prefer, they're hanging out online. And so what you need to do is determine, number one, where they're hanging out online, and number two, what the message is going to be when they see you. Now, I think what's important to keep in mind is that most of the times when you're marketing, people aren't necessarily looking for you. Unless I have a specific need. For example, I just got a divorce and I want to look prettier, so I want to get my teeth whitened, or I just cracked my tooth on some food, and so now I definitely need to go to the dentist because I'm in pain. Unless there's a specific instance that's happening in your life, you're not really going to be looking for those businesses, but you are going to be hanging out online. So I would say it's important to speak to the pain points that you solve and solve well, and target those places online where they hang out.
So let me ask you, I know that you're the expert here,
Yes.
but I've noticed over the years what people communicate is not like, it's not aimed at me at all. It's like, and or even if they're trying to aim for me, they send a really bad message, and you wonder who gave them that thought.
Well, it's hard to aim at you anyway. You're a little bit short. So
I knew that was coming. And okay, so moving on, what I'm trying to ask you is, how does someone realize what the pain points? Okay, I'm a dentist, I solve cosmetic, or I fix your teeth or whatever. Let's do something even a pest control company. Again, nobody calls you until you are inundated with, something running around your house that you don't want, and not the kids or the husband. So what I'm saying is, how you can't just say that can't be your only, like, you got critters, call me,
Right?
Because that's what everybody's going to say. You said be different.
Yes.
So how do I find my differential? How do I find that if I'm a business person?
Well,
Besides coming to you, of course.
right. Well, I mean, this is important. You've got to take a look at the market overall. I think that's the first place to start. I have this analogy that I like to use sometimes. For example, when you look at car companies, now all cars do the same thing. They get you from A to B. That's their function, that's their job. However, car companies do a great job of differentiating themselves and putting themselves in different categories based on the brand and how they want to be positioned in the market, who their target is. For example, the Mercedes customer is very different from the Kia customer. There are two different drivers. The job of the car is the same, but the target is different. So you have to decide, where in the quadrant does your business fall? Are you high end and you appeal to the high end customer that's looking for a luxurious experience when they drive? Or are you appealing to the lower end that's looking mostly for function and affordability? You have to first differentiate yourself in the market, and then from there you're able to provide the service for the customer. So in the example that you gave with pest control, who are you providing the service for? Are you providing the service for, single family home, residential? Are you providing for commercial business owners that have, executive suites that are high end? Are you looking for condos? Who is your target market, and how can you appeal to them?
So is that kind of where we're talking about getting into that niche market?
Yes.
Finding that niche. No longer, in the past, you used to hear the advertising to the general public. It was like, oh, I'm a dentist and these are the dental things I do. And now it's, oh, no, you do implants. You're very specific in what you're doing. So you're looking for that niche aspect now.
Absolutely.
So not to take away from next week's show, which is about networking. I go to a lot of networking things. So do you, and I'm sure you do too. We all do.
Yeah.
I love it when people stand up and says, yes, hi, I am Stephanie, and I'm looking for anyone with skin. Well, you're like, really? I'm looking for anyone with a house. I'm looking for anyone with teeth. Yeah, come on.
Yeah.
You can't do the anyone, everyone thing anymore. I think anyone, everyone is a problem because we give you such a large, it makes it so open and wide that I don't understand what you do.
Exactly. You've got to have a really good handle on your target market. I remember when I used to work for Clear Channel as a solutions provider, radio. They produce, Y100, 103.5 The Beat, all these radio stations. And I remember sitting in a meeting with our director, and we were talking about our target audience, in particular Y100. And when I tell you, the target was so well defined, it was unreal. They knew we're appealing to, Jennifer. She's 21 years old. She has blonde hair. She drives a Honda Civic. She just graduated from FIU University and, or Uni Latina College, and she's going to account executive job, 30 miles from where she grew up. Her mom listened to Y100, and so does her grandmother. And you know what? When you go to Jingle Ball at the end of the year, you see 50,000 Jennifers. They know they're target.
I have heard actually that analogy that if you're smart, you will name Robert and Stephanie, and say these are our clients. And Robert is a middle-aged, tall gentleman, balding, with a that has a great. That has a mind of his own, and you'll really identify by saying, or you'll say the business environment we have is this. And again, now going back to that, I think some people think that they want pest control, that they want townhomes, they want residential customers, they want families.
Right.
And I look at them and I say, that's one family at a time. So in this room, there might be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But if you go to a place where you manage 50 apartments, you manage 2 condominium units, you've now tripled. And so again, how do we get our businesses out there to look past the moms and pops and I got a body, I'm going to try to sell you, instead of trying to work that relationship so that you now help me find who my end game should be? Because if we keep dabbling in 1s and 2s, we won't be alive in a year.
No, you won't. You'll be replaced. You have to do your research. You have to know the market. You have to know what the competition is doing. There's a lot of different ways to, I think, differentiate yourself and to see what the market is looking for. Use Google. Start maximizing your keywords, see what the competition is doing, and find your niche within that market. It's crucial that you know exactly who you're marketing to. If you're marketing to families, well, what type of family? Are you looking to market to families of divorcees, women that are divorced, that are single moms, that, have challenges with money, and so they need someone to come in and do the pest control because the husband's not there to do it anymore? Or are you looking, you know what I mean? You have to really get that, be clear. about that.
We're going to stop and take a break in 1 second here, but Stephanie, it's great to have you back. You are just throwing it down today. I'm like, wow.
I know.
And,
not a word edgewise, huh?
No, not a word edgewise. And the big takeaway, folks, if you are in the dental industry right now, the big takeaway is if you're getting a divorce, get the whitening. Now I know what the key is when I'm going around shopping. If I see a teeth white, I know they're single because they just got divorced. Andrea said it here. You got it from us first. Right now we'll take a couple minutes break, and we'll be right back with the Entrepreneur Hour.
Uni Latina International College with a campus in Miramar, Florida, is a boutique college with an applied, cutting-edge holistic education model. Business, tourism, and communication students not only develop their field intellectual skills, but also are empowered to become holistic professionals through yoga, self-empowerment, Tai Chi courses, and more. Sign up to become a holistic professional at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-4344.
Uni Latina International College offers an English as a second language program for international students. UIC's high qualified ESL teachers help students develop and master the English speaking and comprehension skills needed for both work and pleasure. Our ESL program also focuses on cultural adaptation through fun-filled trips and cultural experiences. Start your journey today at unilatina.edu/ESL or call 954-607-4344.
The Entrepreneurial Hour, shining light on the Tri-Chamber members.
Okay, we are back with the Entrepreneur Hour. This is Robert Goltz with Stephanie Cates, and we're talking about marketing. And right now, just because of the last segment, I'm just going to pass it to Stephanie, and you'll hear from me at the end, folks.
Robert said I must be conversation starved. I said, listen, I was in a car driving home from Las Vegas with my husband for 4 days, who has like 3 words. Yep. Mm-hmm. Okay. If you know what I'm talking about, ladies. All right. So I'd like to move it a little bit to image.
Yeah.
I guess we're bombarded, as you said, by so many images every day. What's a good image and what's a bad image? I know that I could be the best company in the world and hire somebody who will kill my image, my reputation. But if I just have me and maybe my wife and 1 or 2 employees and everything's going good, what should an image look like? I mean, is it about uniforms? I mean, you look the part of an executive here.
Right.
I hope I look professional in this dress, and we won't even look at Robert today, okay? No, I'm sorry.
We all know I look hot. It's all right.
He's hot, yeah. He's actually wearing his Miramar Pembroke Pines regional shirt.
With the Nike
Which today is considered business casual because it's like a golf shirt with the embroidery on there from the company that he represents. So is that acceptable today? Or if you're the owner of the company, should you still be wearing a suit? Talk to me about the image that you need to portray as a business owner, please.
Personal image, that's a good one. I think that depending on, again, how you want to be seen in the marketplace, that will affect your dress. For me, I like to establish myself as higher end. And so it's very important to look the part. If I tell you that I can make you go to the very top of your industry, but every time you see me, I'm dressed maybe business casual, then you might question my ability to do that, I would think. Because, you have to kind of look the part, I think, in this particular business. Not everyone. Not everyone goes out of their way. But I do, because it's important for my personal brand. Now, the company brand is different. It has its own life. When you look at one of the best brands in the world, I say like Apple. Talk about perfection when it comes to brand image. You know exactly what they stand for. They're innovative, they're cutting edge, they are personable. Apple products are top of the line, and it's very hard to, I would say, as the competition, to compete with that, because they've done such a good job of differentiating themselves as being the most cutting edge, innovative, sleek, and personable development companies in the world. global brand. And I think when you are looking at your personal image, when you're looking at your brand image for your company, you have to decide, where are you in the market? Not everybody needs to be high end. Sometimes it's better to be lower end. When you look at the airline industry, for example, Spirit Airlines, I mean, they're like the taxi cab of the airline industry.
Yeah, but when you've got grandkids in Vegas and Colorado, and you can sometimes get tickets for $23.10.
Listen,
hey,
all day.
I can sit anywhere for 3.5 hours for $23.10. Okay,
I hear you. Listen, all I need is a seat.
I've waited that long for the dentist. No, only
there you go.
Only kidding.
But yeah, exactly. I mean, when you need a flight in a hurry, absolutely, that'll work. But if you were going to Italy, you know, you're going far away, you may want a more comfortable, luxurious experience. You may do a different airline because you're looking for a different experience. So, you know, there's an aircraft for every type of traveler. There's a hotel for every type of traveler. You know, there's business. Look at Marriott, for example. They have so many different divisions of their brand. They have Courtyard, you know, which I think is more for like families and maybe business owners. But then you have their resorts for, you know, people looking for luxurious vacation experience. And it's just across the board. They have a brand to match every type of customer.
It's funny you mentioned this. I guess everybody knows I took off for 2 months, went to out west where we originally came from. Mm-hmm. And as I travel, I have my La Quinta. Now, I travel with 2 labs. My 2 dogs go with us in our van. So we travel, and I go to La Quinta because they don't charge me extra for the dogs. They're almost all the La Quintas cross country have been upgraded. Here's a commercial for La Quinta. But what I'm saying is that's there. You walk in there, and 80% of the people have animals with them.
Wow.
It has become a way that anybody with an animal that wants and I'm paying $100 a night. It's not like, you know, it's $200 or you pay so much. It's actually the same price.
Right.
You do sign a little waiver that says if they make a mess, it's $25 to have the rugs cleaned or whatever. But what I'm trying to get to is that, like you said, there is a niche for everybody.
Yes.
And again, if I'm waiting for the airline that decides to allow you to take your pets with you. That you get one seating area and you can put your pets in there, and that would be, I mean, even if it's once a day isn't that a great idea?
That would be nice.
Yeah, you could take your pets, you wouldn't have to put them in the overhead and then find their dead oh, never mind.
Oh my God.
That's another story. Do you remember that?
Yes,
yeah.
I do.
But what I'm saying is that you're right. There is an image and it depends on the audience.
Yeah.
I'm going to interject one little story. When I first got here, I was from Colorado, and are you sleeping?
No.
Yeah. Oh, yeah,
no,
yes,
no.
you are. You're falling asleep.
Not at all. Not at all.
I'm back. 20 minutes into the show, and he's snoring over there. All right. So I got here, and I came with my get up in sales of capris, some sandals, because I used to wear slacks, and so capris and sandals, and a flowery top, and I wasn't really getting very far. I mean, it was like, I guess I was considered pretty dowdy. I guess I am too today. But I had a woman named Marta. You know Marta from City Magazine. Mm-hmm. She was in the Miramar Leads group that I was in. And she came up to me one day and she goes, "You are such a pretty lady and you're so energetic and nice. Have you considered a wardrobe change?"
Wow. That part.
And it was hard. It was hard to hear. But she said to me, maybe I should wear some dresses, because in South Florida, professional women wear heels and dresses.
Absolutely.
You don't have to wear the stockings, thank God. And we wear shapers.
Yes.
What the heck? I go back to Colorado and I've got these, my daughter's like, "Wow, what are these?" They're called shapers. And
They
she
are
goes,
God's gift to women is what they are.
this is an area of the country that a woman dresses very differently than I know any place else.
I think so. I mean, it's the culture. You know, we have a very cultural influence here. I mean, you've got South America and the Caribbean, and I think that those areas, their approach to dress is different than that of maybe some European nations. You just kind of have to adapt to wherever you are. I mean, stockings would be unbearable here in the
Exactly.
heat.
Exactly. But when you come from a place like Denver, I was used to wearing socks and boots and pants over them. And
that's sexy.
Yeah, it's not. It's, that's the whole thing. It's not. And then, I go back to Colorado, and it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago, and they took me out to dinner, and I put a dress on. My daughter's like, "What are you going to a ball?" I said, "No, this is like a work dress. This is like it's just an A-line dress," but it was well beyond what they would have even worn to a party there.
That's interesting.
It is. And so along that theme, Robert's attire is appropriate for someone who's in let's say doing something casual, but I'm trying to get my partners to get casual shirts, like if we do a benefit or a volunteer that has our logo on there.
Those are great. I mean, that's part of the brand image. We were talking about pest control companies. You could have a pest control company where the people show up in whatever they want at your door, or you could have something that is more professional. You have a branded polo, for example, so everyone has the same sort of similar clean look, and right there you're differentiating your brand as, listen, we're in the pest control business and we're professional. We have professional style dress. The brand is clear across the dress, across the website, across the paperwork, the marketing collateral, everything that they do. They're unified in their message, and I think that's very important. You need to be consistent in your brand image.
Do customers worried about fraud? I mean, if you're just wearing a ratty old pair of pants and a shirt, and you show up at my door and say, "I'm gonna do your,"
that's true.
It's like, I don't think I want you to come in.
Where's your license and registration, please?
Well, you have Safe Light people come.
Yeah,
their vehicles have Safe Light on it. Everything they wear, their hats, their cards, like you said. Mm-hmm. So do you highly recommend that to a small business starting out, that at least the people that are face of the company have that branding and image?
Oh, definitely. You want to start from the very beginning, I think. Some people, I think, make the mistake of waiting till the last minute to do their marketing. In other words, if you are launching a brand new business or you've had your business around for less than a year, marketing tends to be the last thing people focus on. You notice that?
Yes.
If they're building a structure, or if they're moving into a facility, they need a storefront or whatever, they'll put all their money into the drywall and the paint and the office furniture and the plumbing and electric, all that stuff. And the marketing is like the last thing that they think about. And it's like, but do you realize that if you don't market your business, no one's going to come in here? You need to focus there.
Yeah.
That needs to be a priority.
Chick-fil-A doesn't really need a lot of introduction once they open their doors.
Right.
But it's very unusual. I was driving down, Highway 40, Interstate 40, and there were billboards that said, "There will be a Chick-fil-A at the next exit soon."
Nice.
I mean, isn't that like pre-marketing phenomenal? Because people in the area then, as they automatically take that route, maybe daily, they're now getting excited about that coming into the area.
Yeah, I used to direct when I sometimes speak to college students and things along those lines, and when I speak to professionals, like the ones getting their law degree or the ones getting their PhDs, I said, listen, get your business cards now. I know you're in school and you're focused on school, but get your business cards now. Start passing them out, start networking, start doing it now, because when you graduate, that's a little late, I think. You should be already out there networking and making those connections. It's so important to, sometimes you have to cast a wide net, and you need to meet as many people as possible and then start to bring them down the marketing funnel and turn them into prospects, into clients.
So while I sit here at this coffee table, that's kind of how I'm feeling right now as this guy out here. We're going to have to take another break here with the Entrepreneur Hour while I go get me some shapers, I guess, because I feel very underdressed right now. And hopefully... So I'm going to go get my shapers and Spanx or whatever I need to get. And we'll be back in a few minutes.
Unilatina International College with campus in Miramar, Florida is a boutique college with an applied, cutting-edge, holistic education model. Business, tourism, and communication students not only develop their field intellectual skills, but are also empowered to become holistic professionals and human beings through yoga, self-empowerment, holistic human development courses, and more. Sign up to become a holistic professional at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-4344.
Hey Maria, congrats on graduating. Must feel good to be done with school.
Yeah, well it is, but I still have to pass the NCLEX test in order to get a job.
Okay, well, is the test difficult?
Extremely, and I've already taken it 3 times and still can't pass it.
What seems to be your major issue with the test?
I don't know, maybe I don't have the right training, or I don't really understand how to study for the test. And I really want to start working as a nurse. It's so frustrating.
Unilatina International College is now offering a comprehensive NCLEX RN prep course guided by expert trainer Dr. Juan Carlos Ramirez. Finally achieve success and start your nursing career today. Learn more at unilatina.edu.
Okay, we are back with the Entrepreneur Hour. Everybody's feeling really good. We're feeling all beautiful right now. We all got our shapers on and feel tucked in where they shouldn't be tucked. And you know what? I lost like 5 pounds with that thing. So I'm very happy to be there.
But you're not supposed to have it on your right foot.
Oh, I got to change that around. So anyway, we're going to get back with the show. I'm going to pass it back over to Stephanie because it seems like the marketing aspect's just going awry here, and I'm just kind of filling in today. So I'm going to pass it back over to them.
So we were talking during the break about Facebook because Facebook, right now the show, what we do is we will include you so that this particular podcast will be announced on your Facebook page.
Excellent.
And you said, I don't have a corporate one.
Well, I do.
Well, talk to me about Facebook and businesses.
Okay. So I do have a Facebook page for myself, for my business, and then also for my brand. Now, content, I think, is really, really important when it comes to your social media. And it's important that you curate enough content so that when you go live, you have something for people to look at. And when I started my business, I already had my personal Facebook page. So I focused on that. That's where I have the most amount of followers. I have now probably about, I think, 4,998 followers. The max you can have is 5,000.
I think that's about 2,300 more than you do, right, Robert?
Yes, I think you're correct in that.
I know it's at least double or maybe triple what I have.
Right. Well, that was my focus. You know, I focused on building that. And so I put all of my energies into developing my personal brand.
And did you graduate and do all your business here in South Florida?
Yes.
Can I just interject again?
Sure.
Coming from the Denver, Colorado Springs, that market out there after 20 years of marketing and developing territories and sales, Facebook, if you are a business, you have your own business, maybe, but Facebook is not where, like I can't go in and say I want to be part of your Facebook as a business. They won't let me. I mean, people just, it's a family thing. They make Facebook much more family. And ever since I've been here in South Florida, everybody wants me to be part of their Facebook. They invite me. They ask to be on mine. And at first I'd say, no, you're not my family. I don't want you on there. And then all of a sudden it's like, why are you pushing all these people away? And I was like, okay, this is very strange. So I started listening to people like you that says, no, South Florida, people feel better when they know you and they know you by your Facebook page.
Yeah. Well, it's one of the first things when you meet someone. I, like you, I go to a lot of networking events, so I get a bunch of business cards, at every event. Well, not a bunch, maybe about 5 to 10. But when you get those cards, one of the first things you do, you go to Google, you go to Facebook, you go to LinkedIn, you're looking them up. You want to see, well, do we have friends in common? Do we have similar interests? What are the points that connect us? So when we have a conversation, I know how to connect with you. I think also when it comes to different generations, I noticed, like, for example, with my sister's generation, Facebook is more of a private experience.
What generation is she? Old like me? I'm the baby boomer generation.
Well, yeah. I mean, part of that generation is...
There's no more boom in that generation.
Excuse me.
They're babies. They're all babies.
Yes,
the
we
first
are.
word is baby.
Is that because many wear diapers? Moving on. Sorry. Robert, 5 minutes here. Look,
I
and I'm
did
already
not
going.
even go there. So,
Well, I think it's a generational difference where sometimes I think that Facebook, from my experience with the baby boomer generation, they see it sometimes as an invasion of privacy a little bit. And so they're somewhat reluctant to invite people that they don't really know. Not that you're supposed to be inviting people you don't know anyway, but I think that the younger you are, the more exposed you are. I mean, millennials are on Snapchat and Instagram all day long, posting every little move that they make. Hey, I went to the beach today. Hey, I had a great lunch today. And, you know, they're making videos. Like, their life is very exposed, and there's a comfort level that you won't necessarily find in every generation. And it's actually even a little bit strange because I heard some research the other day that younger, like teenagers right now, are more comfortable expressing their personal emotions via text and via social media as opposed to in person. So there's like this lack of, I think, social development in a way.
Oh, yeah, I think that's happening.
That's happened as a result. You know, it's connected people in one way, but there's a disconnect because the comfort level is in the texting and the social media as opposed to the one-on-one.
Well, and along those lines, as a owner of a business and trying to hire someone for sales or marketing, that's what they want. They want to be able to, they don't even want to make phone calls. They want to be able to, like, email people, blast people, put out stuff, and then have people call them. There is a fear of face-to-face interaction. And I know a lot of people that said they've gone through salespeople like crazy because they cannot get someone who is just very available to go ahead and actually meet face-to-face a person.
Right. Well, you know, this can be a catch-22 because if you have a great salesperson that's really good with the digital stuff, then you might want to put your focus on an inbound marketing campaign for them. It takes a little bit longer in terms of the ability to convert from prospect to customer, but it's always nice to have an inflow of marketing. This is where your content becomes key. You need to have blogs that are search engine optimized. You need to be an information source. You need to be a thought leader in your category, and you need to distribute this content. Maybe it's one piece of marketing collateral that you split up into different types of marketing. For example, if you did a live podcast like this one and you transcribe it and you are able to turn it into portions of it into a blog, portions of it into a post, portions of it into an email, then you've taken one piece of marketing collateral and created 5 different collaterals from that can be marketed in 5 different, marketing mediums. So sometimes it's about providing solid content and finding a way to deliver it in multiple ways to maximize your reach.
Did you understand anything she just said? I think,
you know what? I'm very busy over here. I am going through her Facebook pictures right now.
Oh my God.
And I just saw her prom picture. It was very cute. So when we started talking about Facebook, that's when I'm like scouring through all these pictures, and it really does tell a major story about her when you look at them. One of the things that I think she just got divorced like many times because she has the whitest teeth in almost all these pictures. So,
well, my niece owns a dental office, so I get whitening. It's part of the perks.
It's part of the niece perks. Huh?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
I did understand what you were saying, but many of our listeners may not understand. You said inbound.
Yes.
So inbound, outbound. Differentiate that. So if I come to you and I look for you to help me do marketing, and you're going to sit there and say, okay, we have outbound and inbound. Explain that to our listeners, and then just kind of give us an example of how that could happen.
Sure. So outbound is when you are out there soliciting and going after prospects and clients. And inbound is when you've established thought leadership so that people come to you. You know, if I have a pest control business and I've done a good job of creating, let's start with outbound. If I have a pest control business, then part of my outbound marketing might be to make phone calls. I might call different residents, properties, property managers, single family homes. I may pick up the phone and just say, hey, you know, I own XYZ Pest Control. Do you need pest control services? And they say yes or no. Or you can blanket the market with direct mailers, or you could produce billboards or radio campaigns, whatever the case may be. Utilize different marketing mediums to go out into the marketplace and get customers.
And that includes the sales force in the outbound.
The sales force.
Okay.
Yes, absolutely. Now, in the inbound, inbound can include a sales force too. However, they are not actively reaching out to prospects. The prospects are actually coming to you because you've done a good job of either doing some advertising and you've created some Facebook ads, let's say, for example, where you've established your thought leadership. You've established the fact that, hey, I'm the best pest control business in Miramar. If you want a quote for my pest control service, leave your name and your number, or your name and your email address, and, you know, we'll contact you and give you the quote. So someone actually is coming to me based on an ad that they saw or an email that they received and they're responding to, and they are giving me their contact information so that I can reach out to them. They made the effort first, and so now I'm responding. That's an inbound marketing campaign.
So again, I do marketing and sales. So on the sales side, I would say that I love those kinds of calls. Hey, I heard about you. I know you do merchant services, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
Can you come by and see me? But that doesn't guarantee a sale.
No.
Doesn't. As a matter of fact, it almost is like you saw the sign, you saw something outward, and you come and you spend the time, and you don't get the sales. If you develop it from the beginning,
true.
You know, like, okay, you're a small customer, let's go ahead and just use Square or whatever these companies until you get to about $3,000, and then after that, call me, and then you get the call. Now you know they're over the $3,000. They're going to be a good customer for you. So if I was a business customer, do you have those parameters and say, this is how big you need to be to do this, or start with this? And then talk to me how you would talk to a small business in developing that marketing for their business.
That's a great point. I think there are ways to weed out or to figure out the level of seriousness of a prospect, because that's a great point. Just because someone has connected with you doesn't mean they're a good fit, doesn't mean they're really interested. They could just be shopping, so they've contacted you, but they're going to contact like 5 others. So you might want to implement certain criteria so that, number one, by the time you get on the phone with them, they're pretty much ready to make a decision. The beauty of the internet is that you can put so much information out there. You can create such a tight marketing funnel that by the time the client, or prospect, I should say, gets to you, the sale's already done. Because you know what? Today's consumer is very smart, very intelligent. They go online, they do their research, they look at videos on YouTube, whether you're selling a product or a service. They've done their homework by the time they reach out to me.
And they look at reviews.
Absolutely.
Oh my gosh, a negative review.
That'll hurt.
I mean,
I am the king of negative reviews. That's why you're looking at me, I guess.
No, I'm not.
Tell us about it. How do you manage your reputation, Robert?
No, I
it's
know.
hard that I don't cry myself to sleep every night.
Well, you know, it is. I know that you're a target. Listen, I'm a Target.
Yes.
I walk into a door and I say, I do merchant services. Yeah, you guys are all liars and cheaters. I'm like, whoa, whoa, whoa.
Easy.
Hey, that's fine. I'm not personally, and I was just going to buy your ice cream. Okay, I mean, seriously, you're a bigger Target. You're an executive director of a chamber that is supposed to do X, Y, Z, and if it does it for me, but if it doesn't do for her, I know you don't sleep at night.
Yeah.
I know that bothers you. But people around here, they don't know that bothers you. And so they think, he doesn't care. He just took my money and, all $200 or $300 or $400. I mean, that's going to make or break you in the scope of life.
It's funny when you go through that aspect. We're going to take another break. You're with The Entrepreneur Hour with Stephanie Cates and Robert Goltz, and with our marketing consultant today, Andrea Cookhorn, and we'll be right back in just a moment.
Unilatina International College with campus in Miramar, Florida is a boutique college with focus on entrepreneurship. UIC offers associate and bachelor degree programs in business, tourism, and communications and media. Associate degree students develop their business plan while studying at UIC. Dream, learn, and grow. Join now our business incubator. Learn more at unilatina.edu or call 954-607-4344.
The Entrepreneurial Hour is sponsored by the Miramar Pembroke Pines Regional Chamber of Commerce, the Weston Florida Chamber of Commerce, and the Pembroke Park West Park Chamber of Commerce. The Entrepreneurial Hour is a weekly radio talk show hosted by Stephanie Cates and Robert Goltz that includes local South Florida business owners, subject matter experts, and industry leaders that recognize the need to share their knowledge with other businesses to help them start and grow their business. Join us Tuesday mornings, 10:30 to 11:30 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, online at Radio Unilatina USA. Follow us on social media at #The Entrepreneurial Hour.
Well, we're back, and I am off the floor. My chair broke because I had those Spanx and that Shapers on, and when you put that much weight into one small area, it does not do well for a chair. So I ended up breaking the chair in here, and everybody's laughing and having a good time with it. So it's a little bit marketing if you don't know what I am.
It was a little scary as all of a sudden he was shorter than me.
Yeah. So I'm a big guy, so if you've seen my picture, you know. But anyway, we're back here with the Entrepreneur Hour with Stephanie Cates, myself, and Andrea Cookhorn, talking about marketing and that. And so we'll go right back into our conversation that we were having. Stephanie, I'll pass it back over to you.
You were talking about weeding out, marketing. And, again, using you as an example, you can't satisfy everybody. No. You never will. What you do is you have to go with the people, that percentage of people that are your niche, that you do meet the needs. And so you just kind of have to let some of them go.
Yes.
And sometimes you need to refund, or you have to do what you have to do in order to stay in that happy place with your business. I used to be a real estate agent many moons ago.
Oh, me too.
In Long Island, New York. Well, here in South Florida, real estate licenses are more prolific than driver's licenses. Oh, that's what I heard anyway. Anyway, moving on. I was a realtor, and I went, and there was a guy who was a speaker called Mike Ferry, and he used to say, "This is for all." So, are you willing? So, if you walk into a listing, if somebody wants to sell, it says, "Are you willing to list it for the price that I recommend? Yes or no?" If they say no, you say, "Okay, well, how much do you think it's worth? $1 million? Have fun. Goodbye," and you leave. Then they say, "Are you willing to list it for at least 6 months with me?" And then they say yes or no. "Are you willing to pay me X amount of commission when I sell it at the price that I'm recommending?" And they say yes. If they say yes, 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 you keep them. If they say no to any of those, you walk out, because guess what? Their house isn't going to sell. And so it was a really good lesson for me to learn very early in my sales career, because I would walk away, and I still do today. If you don't make $3,000 a month, maybe you need to be on a different merchant processing company. And I let them go. I tell them to do that. And when you increase your volume, come see me.
Well, that's a great way to, I would say, to get to your target market and to sort of weed through those that aren't a good fit, or aren't really interested in. You can do that digitally. I focus a lot on the digital marketing piece. And so when you have, let's say, for example, surveys that you utilize in order to get a feel for where the prospect is in the sales cycle, to understand what it is that they are looking for. Are they a good fit for you? Are they, shopping? Whatever the case might be, you can utilize a survey. You can utilize, some quick questions. You can get to the target market real quick, and you don't have to waste time doing it yourself. You can use either a survey, or you can use your website. You can use a well strategized marketing funnel to weed out the.
And that would be your company, correct?
Well, yes.
Okay, so you got to the final point, which is now, in my opinion, where we originally talked, the digital marketing piece. What does that encompass? And if I was a new business, where would I start first? Now, you did talk about Facebook, but go ahead and start. Digital marketing. I'm a new business. I'm thinking about doing digital marketing.
Right.
Where do I start?
My services are customized to the customer. I don't have packages that or one size fit all, and when you sign up with me, you'll get this package and it includes XYZ. No, I don't do that, because every business is different. Every business has different needs and different budgets. Now, I can work across different budgets. I sit down with you, and first of all, one of the first things I do is I do a social media assessment. I want to know what you have. What social media platforms are you currently utilizing? How long have you been utilizing them? And what is your voice? We started talking about brand image, right? And I like to use this example. When you look at, for example, CNN's Facebook page, right? You anticipate a very professional voice. You're not going to see a lot of shortcuts in language. They're not going to use the letter U instead of saying Y-O-U. They're going to be very professional. You expect that. When it comes to, let's say, MailChimp, for example, their Facebook page, you would expect them to be a little bit lighter. They're not as serious. Their logo is a monkey. It's a cartoon. You can expect language that's a little bit more friendly, not so serious, So MailChimp has a very specific voice. CNN has a very specific voice. You may expect to see certain types of humor on certain pages that you won't on others. You may see certain types of quotes and types of videos that, depending on the voice of the brand, you'll see on one, but you won't see on a different brand. So getting a feel for what your voice is, how funny you are, how interesting you are, how often you post, whether it's a hybrid effort meaning, if I were to do your social media, there's some things that I can post that are relevant to the industry. I can pull that information, but I can't pull you being at your son's birthday party. I'm not going to be there. So having that blended approach where you do some personal postings so people get to know, like, and trust you as a person and get to know your team, and then you provide industry related information to establish thought leadership.
So I don't know, would you, if you owned your own company,
I do.
And you do. And you were to post the radio show, which is a business related one, and the next one would be your daughter at the Girl Scout thing. Would you like that to be all in one? That makes me uncomfortable. I'm not saying that it doesn't work.
Right.
I'm just saying that's maybe that age thing of me.
Well, for my company, that's exactly what I do.
Okay.
In the aspect of being a public speaker and doing trainings and things of that nature. Typically, over the summer, I've kind of got laxed over because I'm working on the new book coming out. But when we started, typically every morning, people would jump on my on my Facebook page at 5 o'clock to see what quote I put up every morning. And so it started off with a quote in the morning and a quote in the afternoon. And then the other thing that people end up really kind of grasping onto is my little weird sense of humor out there, where I will throw out my what's called my cryptic messages by most. And if I don't put out a cryptic message every 2 weeks, people start going, "Oh, are we getting another one?" we don't know what it means, who you're attacking, or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like I'll use this week.
I saw that one this week.
This week I having a little tension between me and the school board of Broward County. And so I went to the election polls on Saturday, and I got confronted by some people who were champions for the individual I had attacked, and just kept gnawing at me, and I'm like going, I don't like this. So instead of going for a direct attack like I wanted to, I just said, school fly. I said something about my mom used to sing when she was stressed out. Shoe flies always don't bother me, and I said school flies. I go, school flies don't bother me. My mom used to sing this song, and then I go, oh no, it was shoe flies. Oh well, you know what? School flies, they're still like gnats. So I put my little cryptic in there just to get it. But people, when I go out and speak, people go, oh, we can't wait to hear what kind of crazy thing's going to come out of your mouth.
Exactly.
And people watch my Facebook for that.
And that's what you started your conversation saying.
Right.
Something that was maybe a little out of the ordinary.
Exactly. Disruptive.
He gets a lot of responses. I mean, I think that one within an hour had like 67 likes or views, and you were like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, and I make things different that people, a lot of times people credit me with saying things that they could only think about saying, and they just don't want to say it because they know.
Oh, yeah, you're Mikey. Me too. Yeah.
And so, the other aspect that typically you see on my Facebook is my jokes about being a hitman. So this week it was about the freezer. Hey, I'm looking for a freezer. I need to know the body count that it can hold. And then somebody says, oh, well, this one. I'm like, oh, no, it won't. I go, that one I have to actually do extra work and cut the body up. I just want to dump it in, and so I throw different things like that, but it's a marketing tool.
We need to be checking background checks on these people before we get them as co-hosts.
But those are things that I put out there.
Yeah.
It just adds just a little bit that people go, oh, you know what? He has he's kind of funny in his own way, but it's a dark funny for me, and that's what I do. No one would say, oh, Robert's the happiest guy out there, and he's the biggest. I just make little slide comments here and there, mostly innuendo, and for me it works. But when people hire me, that's the first thing they ask for. We don't want it really serious. We want you to put in your little jokes and stuff. And I'm like, jokes? I don't say jokes. Oh, all that other stuff that you do.
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then that's what you hired me for.
Yeah,
that's your brand, And it's interesting because the things that you do, they kind of make you say, what the? Like, you're not used to seeing that.
Exactly.
You're not used to hearing that. And that's so important, is to get people's attention. At that point on social media, you know what? You're not trying to sell your service. You're not trying to sell membership. You're just trying to get someone's attention. Once you've got their attention, then you can go back and start talking about what it is that you do. But initially, they're not going to care.
Yeah.
They're just going to find you interesting.
Yeah, it's that hook.
Yeah.
The hook to bring them in and then explain. Like this morning we had our orientation, and somebody asked me about some of the comments that I made a couple weeks ago at the breakfast. I said, this is the deal. I said, I'm glad you're here, and the reason why you came here was for an orientation, but you asked me a question. I go, for me now with my brand, my newest thing that I'm doing is, let me tell you about my why. Why do I do the things that I do? And when it comes down to it, for me, my why is, how do I help people be better at what they're doing?
Right.
How do I get them to be better? And how do I pull things out of them that typically wouldn't come out? And Andrea, poor Andrea's been stuck with me a couple times over the last couple weeks, and she'll say something just as she did about the teeth whitening aspect, and I'm like going, oh, well, guess what? I'm using this against you now. And
just runs with it.
And I just run with it, and it's just it's a way to have some fun with people. And for me, it's about getting people to be real, because I think in the business world, we went through this stage of, in our marketing, that we were this and we put ourselves in the box. And I'll use the banks as a prime example. Some banks still have every one of their bank managers and all their people wear the Navy jacket, and they have to have their little moniker on themselves, and it doesn't come true.
Yeah.
It's their
Those
brand.
banks,
but
they'll
it's-
still be wearing them as they close the doors because everybody's going with online banking.
That is
You
so
don't need all
true.
those banks.
But the,
Online banking is
But
the
the
new
issue
thing.
becomes is
new
when
black.
they're hiring people, they don't understand that they have great quality people in their own bank, and they'll hire somebody from the outside because they don't. Everybody looks the same on the inside.
Yeah.
And so that person quits, and they're the market for that bank, and they take their book of business someplace else.
Right.
Robert, we are finalizing our hour here with Andrea. Andrea, you have given us a lot of information about digital marketing, about imaging, about brand marketing. Could you please tell our listeners how they can reach out to you? And then we'll finalize our show.
Absolutely. Well, thank you guys for having me. To reach me, you can go to my website. It's www.acconsultingservices.com, or you can give me a call, 800-350-9260. That's 800-350-9260.
And your full name again?
It's Andrea Cookhorn. It's a homonym.
And just so everybody knows, I can touch her right here.
Oh, okay.
That was appropriate. That's okay.
That was an appropriate touch.
Okay.
Yes, it was.
Folks, just before we're closing down right now, I just want to remind everybody, because Stephanie has not been here, and she's back in town.
Woohoo!
And in just a month to 2 months away right now is our Entrepreneur Hour conference.
That's right. And we just landed our speaker, our opening speaker, Brian Jacobs, he of Collective Ventures, and he's going to be talking about the future of business. So it's really exciting. And you're you're going to be moderating one of the panels, and I'll be moderating the other. So we're really looking forward to this.
And we're looking right now. We're still trying to get a photographer to get our picture done, so we can be doing all our autographs while we're there.
Oh yes, yes. I'm sure
those are
everybody
gonna be
wants to
great.
mount those on the wall. It's going to be a dart. Maybe we should make them into dart things.
Oh, put the dartboard right on it.
Yeah,
There we
they
go.
really sell. High five up
Hey,
there,
we're
right
there.
All right. Okay.
So, folks,
thank you, Unilatina International College, for supporting our show. We know we give you a lot of grief, but thank you so much, Marcela. We love you. Mwah, 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 mwah.
And we are out for this week. See us again next week, right time at 10:30 again next Tuesday, and every Tuesday right here at the Entrepreneur Hour. Thank you again, and Stephanie, it's great to have you back again.
Thank you.